Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Oh, look at him. Look at him.
Clinches it. We are back in business, my Dallas Cowboys. I'm about to be swimming in Diet Mountain Dew. Case upon case, I'm going to win from you of the nectar of the gods. I rest my case.
For the last month,
you.
you've been over there sad.
Yeah.
They're not telling me the truth about Dak. And now all of a sudden, you kiki
Now,
over there.
my glass of Diet Dew is half full.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still got all
real
the other three
excitement
teams, though.
What
know
are
that,
the
right?
three teams?
In the division.
In the least? Good luck.
So the reason you're so excited today, Skip, is all because Dak Prescott made another big step in his
12 passes.
return yesterday, participating in 11-on-11 team drills at Cowboys practice. It is practice. By all accounts, he's looking like his old self, with Zeke Elliott saying he threw the ball with some pop and Mike McCarthy describing Dak as a, quote, caged lion and competitor. For what it's worth, Dak went 11 for 12 on passes over the course of 18 reps. So, Shannon, what does this tell you about 2 weeks from
Oh,
tonight?
was that the throwing session?
Yeah, did you see that?
I saw a slant to Amari.
Yeah.
I saw a swing pass to Zeke, and that's what we're supposed
Did
to
you
get.
see velocity? Did you see zip? Did you see mustard on those throws?
So in other words, what Skip Bayless and others are telling me, there is no excuse. 2 weeks from tonight, there's no excuse because Dak Prescott is throwing the football and he had pop.
There's actually no excuse. It's 3.5 weeks to the Chargers game. That's when our season starts.
No.
Season starts at Chargers. Yes.
No. Y'all open it Sunday night. They want the Cowboys at prime time. The question is, Skip, okay, threw 12 passes yesterday. As he increases, is there going to be any soreness, any residual effect? Because he hadn't really thrown any significant amount of time in the last month. Skip, I heard Mike Trout talking the other day about he's been out with a calf injury since May. And he says anytime he does baseball activities, he's so sore the following day. The question is, Dak throwing the ball 12 times. That's not a whole lot of throws, Skip. Is there any soreness? Is there any residual from him throwing the previous day? Now, they're going to need to ramp this up because if you think you're going to go into a season, Skip, and your quarterback's only throwing 12 passes or throws 12 passes a day, you're sadly mistaken. So as they increase this, go from 12 to 20, maybe 25 to 30, or is there going to be any setback? Does Dak like, man, I'm really sore the next day, and then that prevents him from throwing? But this is a positive sign, Skip, because what was supposed to be 2 to 3 days all of a sudden turned into a month. Now, Dak is all of a sudden starting to throw. Contrary to what Jerry and the Cowboys and others have you to believe, this is not normal. Because I can assure you, no other player that says, you know what, our wide receiver, his hamstring is good, so we're just resting him. No, there's reason why you're resting him, because no one's really playing in the preseason, especially their starters. You get a few starters sprinkling here and there, Skip, but everybody's playing. So, okay, that's a good sign. You got through 12 passes. Hopefully there's no setbacks, but I don't want to hear any excuse come September 9th, because when we come in here on September the 10th, I want you to have that same energy that we started the show with. You know how you would do it then, your paper? Yep. I want that energy.
Okay, you're going to get it.
No.
What's the date? I'm sorry, it's September 19th.
No.
You got to put a 1 in front of it.
No.
That's at Chargers.
No.
That's when our season actually starts.
The season starts next 2 weeks.
Okay, it is my turn. I do not completely disagree with anything you just said, because it all does make some sense, and it is all grounded in very conservative, logical assessments on your side from the Hall of Famer who is Shannon Sharpe, sitting across the table from me. But I am a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. I admit it. I disqualify myself on those grounds if you so desire. But after I saw this video, after I read all the reports of how Dak threw the football, it's the first positive sign I've had the entire training camp.
Okay,
he actually threw some with, I'm going to quote my man Ezekiel Elliott, with some pop. He had some pop on the ball, said Ezekiel Elliott, his best friend. Okay, so if you want to disqualify him, you can. Okay, but he said he looked really good, man, said my man Zeke.
Okay.
I have nothing else to hang my hat on. I got to go with that. I got to go glass half full.
Right.
I got to say, well, okay, at least I got that. Right. I got to quote the greatest writer in the history of this planet, William Shakespeare, who said, all's well that ends well.
Right.
And it's ending well. It's not ideal. Mm-hmm. Mike McCarthy made the mistake the other day of actually divulging what his game plan was coming into the preseason. He said, I had Dak scheduled.
Thank you.
10 to 15 plays in the first preseason game, for a quarter in the second one, and maybe a half in the third one, because he hasn't played football since the 5th game of last year, when he suffered a career-threatening ankle injury that required 2 surgeries.
Yep.
And the only silver lining here is that I've actually forgotten about the ankle injury, because everybody has. And if I can go deep for just a moment, I know in my many injuries I've suffered from running and weightlifting, sometimes I have one that's just nagging me. I had one not a couple of months ago. My left knee was just killing me when I ran. It was just, I don't know, just like chronic tendonitis, kneecap. And it was driving me crazy until I hurt my left thumb swinging the golf club too hard in the rough, where it caught in the rough, and it's just killing me. And all of a sudden I woke up one day and said, I forgot all about my knee. Well, is it possible Dak has forgotten all about his ankle?
It's possible.
Because that's what we were all the most concerned of. Did I want to see him under fire? Did I want to see him get his football, his sea legs underneath him?
Yes.
With some live combat going on? Yes, I did.
Right.
But I didn't get that. And what I love for him, they play Sunday night. What time? It's actually Sunday at noon. Dallas time, they play Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's probably going to play a lot of their guys. So anyway, I was thinking, okay, that could be 1 month. Is there any way? It was reported by Todd Archer of ESPN that Dak and Mike McCarthy had a long talk as they walked off the practice field. Is it possible Dak would play a couple series on Sunday at noon in Dallas? Maybe. Would I take that?
Because, Skip, is different. Now, remember, they got 2 weeks in between the last preseason game and the first regular season game. So this is the equivalent, starting right here, right now, of a bye week, which would be gold in the middle of the later in the season, obviously. So you got a bye week. You actually have 2 full weeks. It's tonight. It's a Thursday night solo stage opener at the defending champs. Right. Okay, so what have I told you from the start? I have given up the opener. They're going to get annihilated. I already told you they are. It is so wrong place, wrong time. You can ridicule me all you want, but I have given it up, and I'm not trying to make preemptive excuses for them. You're not going to win that game. Fox Bet right now has them as 7.5-point dogs. I want some of that on Tampa Bay. I do, because it's not going to be close to being 7.5. I know what you're doing, Skip Bayless. I'm not doing anything. Okay, wait, before you go, I am going to dig in. I got the schedule right here, and I went over it one more time. I got them at 12-5. 12-5, winning the least. Running away with the least. 12-5. Okay, I got it right here. So you can take all the shots you want at what I just said about opening night, but there's no way with a Dak Prescott who hasn't played a single snap since the Giants game, the 5th game of the year. It's almost 11 months ago. There's no way they're going to go win this game with they'll probably have 8 new starters on defense. I don't know what's going to happen, because they don't know what's going to happen. Whoa. You just told me yesterday, you told all our listening audience that you love what Mike McCarthy said. He had never seen a team flip the defense in such a short amount of time. And now you're talking about 8 new starters?
Do you remember what I've said about Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.? He is the runaway GOAT, and we're going to talk about this later. I am predicting he's going to have his greatest season yet at age 44, and that he will win the MVP this year. So you want to talk about getting thrown into the fire, getting thrown to the wolves in Tampa? I know what you're hoping on the low. You're hoping the Cowboys win so you can come out here and say, that settles it. They're going to the Super Bowl. No, I'll come out here and I'll say I was wrong about last night. If that's what happens, there's no way they're going to win this game. You're going to be right. It's like when they threw Brady into the Breeze fire last year, right? Opening night. Yeah, it was opening day. Sunday, yeah. Right. Well, it was unfair. He hadn't had any preseason games with a brand new offense that he could barely remember the nomenclature of. After seeing Dak throw for 11, 12 plays, how many throws Zeke said he had pop, would you like to see him get a series? Yes. Because this would be the equivalent of the third game, because it's 2 weeks from the first opening day. It would be beautiful to me. It wouldn't scare me at all. I'd like to see him get You'd have to play it by ear, but maybe 2 or 3 series.
You'd have to play your
starting offensive line, which would be probably scarier than playing Dak.
Right.
But I would love to see it because we keep talking about this. The oldest cliche in football is you can't get better at football without playing football.
Correct.
You know that more than anybody.
Absolutely.
So the point is that they've all tried. This is a new world this year. This is the first time I've ever seen this. Everybody is using the joint scrimmage with another opponent as your preseason games because you can control the injuries a little better because you don't actually tackle hard. You don't run through guys, and the quarterback is completely off limits. So now that's where they're sort of figuring things out, is in those.
And because, Skip, no one is really playing their starters. Because you look at Sharpe
in the preseason, they're not.
Yeah,
no.
so that's the way, and like you said, that's the way to control it. Stay away from the quarterback. Everybody stays up on special teams. There's no tackling or anything like that.
So as you recall, the Cowboys had maybe 3 days against the Rams while they were still out in Southern California, where the Rams were in Thousand Oaks, obviously, and in Oxnard for the Cowboys. And Dak missed the whole thing. Dak missed everything because it started on July 28th as we got to witness firsthand on Hard Knocks, thanks to the Hard Knocks, the NFL Films video. We got to see the footage of Dak suddenly saying, I don't know what happened. It is the single most mysterious injury I have ever encountered that a quarterback suffered because it's some weird muscle pull, strain, tear. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of this before, but I got to deal with it. So I'm trying to see it as silver lining of, well, at least his ankle seems to be great. You know, I don't hear a thing about the ankle.
Well, you said the ankle. Dak said going into training camp that he has no limitations. He felt no hesitation about the ankles. And then this flares up. The question is he going to be able to let loose of the football when it becomes meaningful, which is September 9th against Tampa Bay? Can he let loose the football without having the back of my mind, how long is this thing? Is it going to hold up? Am I going to be good this game? Am I going to be good for the next game? How long? Because, Skip, this is the first time that we've seen him throw. I mean, and that's only 12 throws, Skip. It's not like he went out there and threw the ball 50 times like somebody in a pro day. He threw the ball 12 times.
Okay, I hear everything you're saying. I can't answer that question because when it comes to injuries, neither of us can say what's going on in a man's mind and in his body.
Correct.
I just like the fact that he was throwing with a little bit of zip on the ball that I did not see pregame the other night before the Houston game. I saw a little bit of zip. I saw flashes, glimpses of the old Dak. And heck, I'm at the first of this video that we're showing, I just love seeing him running out onto the field. He looked good. His body looks good. He looks incredibly trim and fit. And all I heard yesterday from the Cowboys were all those classic words. Zeke said he's a grinder. McCarthy said he's a competitor. I say he's a baller. So everything seems on course except for this mysterious thing that we've never heard of. It's a quote-unquote baseball injury to the point they had to go try to get some information from the trainers of the Rangers and the Yankees, said our man Jay Glazer. I've never heard of this before.
But Skip, it was also good to see him in a team setting because remember, most of the time he was throwing soft toss by himself. He was doing some 7-on-7 stuff. But now he's in a team setting because he's going to have to get used to people being around his feet. Skip, in a game, people like scratching and clawing, trying to get at you. So we'll find out just how healthy that ankle is, how confident and secure he feels in that ankle, all the while knowing that he's going to throw the ball at least 25 to 30 times.
Okay. This is a huge year for Dakota Rain Prescott.
Absolutely.
And I would like to start to respell his middle name, R-E-I-G-N, as in Cowboys reign over the world. But the point is, he just got $75 million to play football just this year. The next on the list of paid quarterbacks is Tom Brady at 27.5. So he's at 75, and the pressure mounts. We disagree. I think the most pressure is on Ezekiel Elliott. I need Zeke to have a bounce back for Dak's sake. And yet I saw this last preseason game, they actually played Ty Smith and they played Zach Martin and they played Lyle Collins. And I haven't seen them in action for so long, but they actually trotted them out there and let them play a couple series.
But this is why I disagree with you because, Skip, they say we've seen over the last couple of years Zeke in decline. Everybody talked about how Dak could possibly throw for 6,000 yards.
Yeah.
He was on pace. Remember, he had the greatest 5 games passing in NFL history. He's at over 400 yards passing a game. No one has been over 390 in the first 5 games. So now you factor that in with the contract, with the contentious relationship that he had. He's like, I'm not playing. This is what I'm worth.
Yep.
There's an immense amount of pressure on a guy that got that kind of money because now, we're going to talk about it a little later. There's an immense amount of pressure. When you get that kind of money, people equate money to success. Well, you got paid. Okay, now show me.
Okay. So, are you putting him on the hot seat? Because you're going to hold his feet to that fire, and it's going to burn hot at Tampa.
Because the Cowboys, Jerry keeps saying, all y'all keep talking about this is the Cowboys' year. And Pro Football Focus every year, this is one of the 5 most talented teams. They've been saying that for 25 years. And for 25 years, everybody is let down. There's not been one year where people said, you know what? The Cowboys overachieved. The Cowboys were not supposed to have a 10-6 record. They were not supposed to be 11-5. Every year for 25 years, everybody said at the end of the year, this has been a disappointment. Name one time in the last 25 years, Skip, where you said, you know what? I'm proud of my team because they overachieved. They were not supposed to be what they were. You're disappointed every year.
2014, 2016, 2018, I was proud of them all 3 years.
Skip, you was the number 1 seed in the NFC, and you caught the L in the divisional.
2016?
Yes!
Because we got off to a really slow start with 2 rookies in the starting lineup at quarterback and running back, and a defense that was probably overrated and not ready for Aaron Rodgers. And they fell behind 21-3, and then what happened? Rain happened.
Nothing happened.
R-E-I-G-N happened.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure
and
out.
all of a sudden, I look up, and it's 31-all thanks to Dakota Rain Prescott.
Well, why was it 21-3? Because of Dakota Rain Prescott.
Well, Aaron Rodgers got hot, and then he cooled off, and then he got lucky because he got 2 of the weirdest, strangest, most unpredictable long-distance intergalactic field goals I have ever witnessed, 51 yards and 56 yards from Mason Crossbar. I don't know how he did it.
I love how you do that. You talk about, we had the best record, but it was with 2 rookies. They were rookies in the regular season, and you didn't mention that. Now, all of a sudden, they catch the L because they... Like I said, they would. Now, all of a sudden, you want to put it on the age. Don't do that, Skip. All I'm saying is this. There's more expectations. There's greater pressure on Dak Prescott because why? You told me since I've been on the show with you, the most important position in sports is what position, Skip? And then when you magnify that he plays in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
You and I was having a conversation off air about Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman. Well, that's the gold standard. I don't know what can I equate it to, Skip. Maybe
you're talking about who is the greatest quarterback, who's the most popular quarterback,
right.
And I said it
gotta be
by
right.
A little bit. It's Rodgers.
Right.
I mean, he was godlike.
Are we talking about a center fielder for the Yankees?
Yeah.
I mean, what can we compare it to, Skip? As that another position in another sport? I don't know what you can compare it to. The starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and you win a Super Bowl.
It used to be center field for the Yankees,
right.
But now I think it sits alone on its own pedestal. I don't think there's anything like it.
Okay.
And yet the Hall of Famer across from me discounted all those yards Dak threw for in the first 4 games last year.
Calories.
A lot of empty calories.
Yeah.
They fell behind at Seattle 30-15. Well, again, let's go back to Atlanta first. They won the game,
right.
but they were completely down 39-20.
Yeah, they was down by 19 at one point.
I believe it was. And then they go to Seattle, they're down 30-15. And then Cleveland at home, they're down 40-14 going to the fourth quarter. And he's just lighting up fourth quarters, mostly in losing efforts.
Correct.
That it's just the hole was dug too deep. Okay, so I'll give you that. I will give you that in his last 17 starts, he's 6-11, which is horrifying to me and should be horrifying to Jerry Jones, who just paid him $75 million for this year.
Which you said was too much about Dak. I like Dak. Dak's a good guy, but I don't believe he deserves to be paid the upper tier money. Well, he got the upper tier money. So when you get the upper tier money, guess what comes along with that? Upper tier responsibilities.
Okay. But I do believe what McCarthy is selling right now, and his credibility has taken a lot of hits on Hard Knocks, but I'm buying into this whole idea of I've never seen one side of the ball get flipped in the offseason, get turned around in the offseason like the Cowboy defense just did. I am loving what I'm seeing. There's a lot of youth, and there's going to be a lot of youthful gambling mistakes made, but they're going to be way better on defense than they were last year.
And guess what we get the chance to see on September 9th? Just how much that defense is flipped. What better way to see how well your defense has grown since that infusion of youth and a new voice and Dan Quinn calling than going against the reigning Super Bowl champion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
They will get surgically humiliated.
No. You can't do that.
Yes, you can. The GOAT. And the GOAT has got a receiving core second to none in the league.
You just spent this 5 minutes telling me about how they flip and how you like what you see.
Okay, but you can't start there against them.
Why not?
Well, come on. And what about their defense? What about Tampa's defense? Can you make a case it's the best in football right now? I can.
Hold on. You just told me one guy makes $75 million, the other guy makes $27 million. So the guy that makes $75 million should be able to carve up the team.
I've also made the case I will not be shocked if Tampa Bay wins every game this year.
They're not winning every game. Stop that.
17-0.
They ain't going no 17 and nothing.
Well, I'm not going to be shocked over that. So now I go back to the Cowboys schedule, and I say, right off game one, it's over. It's going to be like, I'll just go off the top of my head, it's going to be like
0-2.
35.
You're starting the season 0-2.
35-10. I'll say that's the score. 35-10 at Tampa Bay. Then it's Justin Herbert out here at SoFi, side of the Super Bowl. You never know. Maybe it'll be a pre-trip to the Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, at Chargers will be the game of the year for my Cowboys. It will be a make or break, sink or swim game because you don't want to go down 0-2 because the numbers will scream at you.
Drowning.
Right?
0-2 for you.
The numbers will scream at you that you cannot make the playoffs off 0-2.
Thank you.
Although there is an extra game this year, which will help just a little bit and skew that number.
Extra loss for you.
Okay, so I believe they will win at Chargers. No. And then they go home and they get Eagles, Panthers, and Giants, and they will win those three. So that would be 4 in a row. At New England, I'm like, I don't know. It's a coin flip.
There ain't no coin flip. Y'all
need to see who's the starter. And by the way, wouldn't that come 1 week after the game at Foxborough, after the Tom Brady returns?
Oh, they're going to be riding high.
Oh, they might be riding low.
They beat Tampa, so they're going to be feeling good about themselves.
Okay. Then come at Minnesota. We won there last year. I don't know why we can't win there this year. Your Broncos, thank you very much. That's a big dub. And then we got the Falcons at home. Yeah, we got that one, no problem. At Chiefs, I'll give you a loss there. Raiders at home, I got it.
The John Gruden, you got.
At New Orleans, I'll give you an L at New Orleans, although I think we'll have a shot there. At Washington, I'll give you the L, but that's going to be the only division game we lose. The only one, because at New York, I believe we win that.
Y'all lose.
Then we come home and we will beat Washington at home. We will beat Arizona and get revenge over them from last year at home. And then we finish at Eagles. That's a big W. That's 12. I just gave you 12 and 5. I also just shot right through what is right now the second easiest schedule in the National Football League based on last year's one-loss records.
And guess what, Skip?
Second easiest.
Guess what? People are looking at their schedule, and they see the Dallas Cowboys, and just like you say, that's a win. That's what everybody's doing on their schedule.
Okay, good.
Anytime they see the Cowboys, yep, that's a win.
Yep. Well, I got Dak back. That's all I care about.
You just got Dak back yesterday. He's been out for 5 weeks.
Well, we got a bye week this week to get ready.
I'm going to allow you to keep that excitement, Skip. You're happy about it?
Want that excitement too,
I think I hear some fear in your voice.
I don't want to give away right now.
No mercy.
Mac Jones is making the most of his opportunity, taking first-team reps and joint practices against the Giants. The rookie completed 35 of 40 passes in action against New York, and teammates James White and Kendrick Bourne both praised the quarterback's command of the huddle. This morning, Bill Belichick confirmed Cam Newton will be back today and said that both quarterbacks will get work during practice. So, Shannon, do you believe Mac Jones has beaten out Cam Newton?
Skip, Coach Belichick will be really giving us some information. Both quarterbacks will get work today at practice. Wow, he be giving us that info that we need. I think Mac Jones has put immense pressure on Cam Newton. Skip, it's just like anything. You have a toy that you really like. You get a new toy, you start playing with the new toy. I thought Cam was playing really well. He played really well in the game, and from what I hear, he's been practicing really well. But he gave Coach Belichick an opportunity to put his eyes on this new toy. That new toy happened to be Mac Jones. And from what I've read, he was he wasn't good. He was great yesterday.
Yep.
And that's the one thing you don't want. Skip, I remember in '95, I fractured my eye socket. I ended up missing the last 3 games. They got an opportunity to look at my backup. They liked so much what they saw in my backup, they tried to trade me that offseason. Why? Because I gave them an opportunity. Yeah, the injury wasn't my fault. But, okay, Cam chose not to get vaccinated, whatever. He had to go for a doctor's appointment. But you've allowed Coach Belichick, you've allowed those other coaches to get extra looks at this guy. And he's shown them that, you know what? Hold on. We might need to, it's going to be very interesting. I still believe, Skip, that Cam is going to be the starter. But I believe the gap is closed significant.
Yeah.
And now, Skip, I believe Cam will start. But where I was 65-35, I might be 55-45. I might be closer to 50-50 now, whether or not Mac Jones opens the season as a starting quarterback.
I am now 92% certain that Mac Jones is going to be the opening day. Yeah, I'm 92. Who knows what Bill Belichick will decide.
Correct.
And he might just hear the way the wind is blowing on the internet, he might just go the other way.
Correct.
Because he loves to do what nobody thinks he will do or should do.
That is very correct.
I think even you, from what you just said, are starting to see the writing on the Gillette Stadium walls. This is where we're heading. And if those walls could talk, the stories they might tell about Deflategate, right? And many other bugging of locker rooms.
Exactly.
Okay.
Spygate,
you got it. I don't want to overreact to a joint scrimmage. Just so everybody gets this. There were Giants on the field versus Patriots on the field, but the rules are very different than real live football games because on defense, you can't run through your tackles. So the DBs have to kind of pull up as they are covering. And so if they draw a bead on the football and they think that they're going to arrive simultaneously, they got to pull up just a little bit because they can't just annihilate the receiver.
They don't do what we call, Skip, playing through the play.
Yes.
Where the guy would always play through, he do everything he can. If he got to get you on the ground to try to get the ball out, that's what would happen.
Right.
But now he just like, he might scream, yep, and you just blow by it.
And there's no laying of wood on receivers on crossing routes over the middle. So that doesn't happen, and obviously the quarterback is off limits. So they can sort of wave at him as they go by, but he's kind of uncontested in the pocket. So, okay, we get all that. But this kid just lit them up. Because if you go 35 of 40, and it was over 2 different kinds of drills, because if I get this right from some of these reports.
7 on 7 on a team.
It was 13 of 14 and 7 on 7. So if you don't get 7 on 7, that's just receivers and DB type. It's the back 7. There's no pass rush at all. So that happened, but then they go to the
team 11 on 11
scrimmage, and he goes 22 of 26 in 11 on 11. And that included an 80-yard, 2-minute drill drive at the end for a touchdown. And they actually had 3 plays that they ran just in the red zone, and all 3 of them he threw touchdown passes. And he was spreading the ball like crazy because the point was everybody was catching them. James White caught 6. This is over the whole practice. Kendrick Bourne, who's new, caught 6. Jacoby Myers, who's been there, caught 6. And that new kid Wilkerson caught 5. So he was Brady-esque. He's spreading the ball around. And I'm sure there was a good deal of dinking and dunking, but it was so impressive that according to many reports, when it ended, Mac Jones was pretty gassed because it was 90 degrees with high humidity. And so he's down on one knee on the sideline, and Belichick walked over to him and gave him a, if you want to call it a low high five, it was like one high, one low, but he high-fived him. Okay, that just doesn't happen. I don't know if he ever did that to Tom Brady, ever. Okay, so these are strong suggestions that job was lost yesterday by Cam Newton just because he wasn't there to defend himself.
Skip, if it wasn't lost, it says to me it's not a matter of when or if. It's going to happen. Mac Jones is coming. Skip, you don't take a guy in the first round with the anticipation, well, we'll just get him. It's not like it used to be in the old days, Skip. You take a guy in the first round and you let him sit for a couple of years. That's not how it is. They take guys in the first round now with the anticipation of these guys playing sooner rather than later. And when Cam allowed this to happen, that's what Drew Bledsoe It wasn't his fault, but he allowed them to get an extended look at Tom Brady. Coach Belichick liked the look so much. Skip, even though he wasn't blowing it away, he said, you know what? We got something here. We can win with this guy. And you never want a coach to think, you know what? We can win with this. We can win with your replacement. Because once they think they can win with your replacement, guess what they're going to do? Replace you.
That is correct. So I told you from the start, I don't believe Bill Belichick has ever been quite comfortable with Cam, even though Cam has sacrificed a lot of sort of who he is and was at Carolina for the sake of the Patriot way. Cam Newton, to me, is as entertaining a quarterback as I've ever watched. There's flamboyance in there, but it's very natural. It comes easily to him. He's just entertaining. He is fun to watch. In fact, he's a blast to watch to me because he's going to give you all he's got, and he's going to wear a lot of his emotions on his sleeves. And I even like him on social. It gets a little crazy, but it's highly entertaining. All of which Bill Belichick does not love. Mac Jones, obviously, is the flip side. He doesn't have much to say to the media. Just
where'd he come from? Alabama. You don't say a whole lot. Yeah, you don't be doing a whole lot of talking.
Yeah. The less you say, the better to the media. That's what he's been taught from the start. He's a hard worker. He's all those cliches. He's all those old school things. He's mentally tough. He's physically tough, blah, blah, blah. We get it. That's the Belichickian way. That's who he's going to be more comfortable with going forward. And that would be the one where you could say, I stole that kid with the for 15th overall pick. And Cam came to him, obviously, as a free agent. And Cam won an MVP 2015 for Carolina, not for Bill Belichick. So he didn't raise Cam. He didn't. He didn't show him the way. He didn't teach him everything he knows about playing in the NFL. Cam already knew. And Cam had some monster games last year and got COVID. And it feels like COVID is doing in Cam a second time, or at least the protocol is doing him in. So it'll be interesting to see what the reports are today. Did Cam go back to getting first-string snaps? Did he get his opportunity to regain some stature against the Giants again?
Remember I told you yesterday, the normal protocol is in a 10-play series, what they do, they break it up in plays. You get 10 plays. The starter would normally take 7 to 8 reps. Then the backup comes in, he gets 2 snaps. Well, in 2 snaps, Skip, you got to press. It's like I was in college. I told my coach, I can't keep alternating. I run 2 plays, the other guy comes in for 2 plays. Let's just put the job up, and whoever wins, they the starter.
Fair enough.
Well, now all of a sudden, Mac Jones, he doesn't have to press because he's getting 2 plays. I'm getting 8 plays. So now I can relax knowing that I don't have to make something happen just in the 2 plays that I'm in the ball game. And it seems to me he relaxed yesterday. Because I don't skip in a team setting, and I get it, having been in those situations, even though in a joint session, Skip, guys still are not trying to let you catch the football now. They're doing a lot of holding and tugging because, I mean, a lot of times we had joint practice, we always had officials. And it's like, okay, that would have been a flag there. You know, they letting them know, but they still...
Because you're not going to get penalized.
Right.
That is good that they say, hey.
I would have called a flag. But, Skip, they clutching and grabbing because they're not trying to let you catch passes because you catch a pass on them, your side, the other side is oohing and ahhing like, oh, man, he cooking you. And I don't want to hear that.
And there is a whole lot of... In fact, I think, from my experience, there's way more talking in these sessions than in a real game.
Skip, because you can hear. There ain't no 80,000. You can't hear what's going on. You try to yell across the field. I can hear it's calm. So I can yell, oh, man, he cooked you. And you can't do anything with easy and cooking you.
And on top of that, this is 90 degrees in the Northeast with probably 90% humidity, right? And it is miserable out there. And so the longer it goes, the worse you feel. And if you're getting cooked, now you feel like I'm going to fight back.
And these are the kind of conditions that Coach Belichick believes that teams and guys are made. 90 degrees, the high humidity. You're tired. It's the dog days. We're coming up on a game in less than 2 days away. Who can focus in, get the task at hand done? Coach Belichick loves these moments, Skip, because remember when they was talking about Deflategate, he's talking about how I freeze the ball, I wet them. He'll put the guys in different situations because guess what? These are the kind of situations that you're going to face in the game. And I want to know who can handle those kinds of conditions come game time. I can assure you, he loved what he saw yesterday from Mac Jones. That's why he went over there. How many other guys did he go over there to that was on one knee? Because I'm sure Mac Jones wasn't the only one that was tired. Who else did he go over to? And good job, son.
Nobody. it's always the anti-Brady. It's Garoppolo that he texts and says, good game when he goes to San Francisco, right? And it's Mac Jones he's giving a little low five to, right? Okay, that brings up this final scenario. Let's just do the what if. What if Mac Jones starts game one? Where is Cam Newton now? What happens? Do you keep Cam as your quote-unquote backup quarterback? I can't even imagine Cam as a backup. But furthermore, you talk about not pressing. Do you really want Cam looking over the shoulder pads of Mac Jones as he tries to step into the winged cleats of Tom Brady in Foxborough in the opener? Do you really want that?
It's there. It's real, Skip, and I'm not so sure had he not missed these practices because of COVID protocol. I'm not so sure he still wasn't going to be looking over his shoulder. This kid has impressed in the preseason.
So if you're Belichick, do you keep Cam as your backup if you're going to go with Mac?
I would.
Would you?
Yes, I would.
Well, that's going to heap even more pressure on Mac Jones.
Don't worry
because
about Mac.
Brian Hoyer would provide little to no pressure.
Correct, but here's the thing, Skip. This kid has faced pressure. He knows what it was like to back up Hurt, back up Tua. Then all of a sudden he get his chance, and even they had the number one dual threat breathe. That's what practice is all about. You can lose at Alabama. It's competition, Skip. All these guys are trying to get up there and show. Why you think these guys leave? Because you could easily have a great season one year and then somebody come up and take your job and you sitting there like, hold on, that guy just won some award last year. Why is he splitting time? Because the guy that was behind him is hungry. So I don't worry about Mac Jones feeling the pressure.
Well,
or
obviously
about competition.
Cam would provide a much safer safety net than Brian Hoyer would.
Yes.
But still, I don't know if Belichick would do that. I'm not sure. It'd be if he blesses Mac Jones in game one, he may just say, this is where we're headed, and I'm going to let Cam go find another job elsewhere.
Well, I'm going 52-48.
Okay, that
Cam Newton starts.
Okay.
52-48.
52-48.
Yep.
I'm going 92%. 92% that Mac Jones won the job yesterday.
Right.
It just feels like that's where it just headed.
They said he looked good.
Yep.
I mean, all the reports I read is that he looked outstanding. Not good, outstanding.
Outstanding. Those are strong words. Okay, guys, we got to move on for now as this one will play out in front of us. The Athletic conducted a survey of 33 agents and got their opinions on a variety of NFL topics, including the Cowboys, and not surprisingly, there were a lot of strong opinions about Jerry Jones. One agent went so far to describe Dallas as, quote, the best ownership group in sports, worst head coach in sports. Anything that begins and ends with mismanagement talk begins with who they hired as head coach. But nobody treats their players like them, has the facilities like them, is willing to spend the money to make sure everyone is the happiest. Nobody markets their organization better. Well, there's a lot there. Shannon, how much truth is there to this statement?
Not much. Skip, I'm a representative. Why wouldn't I like Jerry Jones? Because Jerry Jones going to overplay my clients. Jerry Jones going to spend money when I know my client is not worth that. Jerry Jones going to pay him just because Jerry wants him. But that's not how it works in football, Skip. On the business side, the way he's been able to grow the Cowboys, the way he's able to market the Cowboys is second to none.
Okay, well, that's the statement. That's what he's talking about. Best ownership group. That's the whole idea.
No. On that side, what about the ownership group on the football side?
Okay.
Because let me ask you a question. And in the survey, that says, okay, in 25 years, if Jerry Jones, how many GMs can keep their job if they're marred in mediocrity like Jerry Jones has kept his job?
That was a good question and statement, and I agree. I mean, he would have fired himself years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah, at least 20.
Exactly.
Maybe 23 years ago.
And that's the problem. They say Mike McCarthy, but who hired Mike McCarthy? A coach at Dallas, since Bill Parcells, has the job in title only. Okay. They're not responsible for the final 53. They're not responsible for the draft. They don't get to talk about free agency once it hits. That's not what the coach does. Mike McCarthy has that title in name only. He does not have no say over the roster. Who plays, when they play. Skip, you heard him asking, what do you think about Zeke not playing in the preseason? What, you think any other coaches is asking the ownership that? No. That's my job. That's what you hired me to do. There's a reason why. When Jerry said, Skip, remember, he like, have a little beverage. Jerry said, they 500 coaches that can coach them. Well, he's gone through 400 of them and still hadn't got the results as Jimmy. He had that 1 year, but that was Jimmy's team. Jimmy had put that together.
I'll buy that.
Once they got past all of Jimmy got.
By the way, I have high respect for Barry Switzer. That was not easy what he pulled off. He almost did it twice. They got to the NFC Championship game and
94.
came within one bad call on my man Deion Sanders and your man. But whatever. The point was he did hold them together to win the next year's Super Bowl. Go ahead.
How many owners are the general manager? There's 32 teams. Now, I'm going to give you one guess. How many owners are also the general manager, the VP of operations? I just want you to tell me just how many.
Well,
one.
You know the answer.
Exactly.
And who did he learn from? The great Al Davis, who was the previous only one of those.
But Skip, because these jobs are so hard, that's why normal ownership, what do? They hire someone to do it.
Yep.
Because they're not there every day breaking down tape. They're not there every day watching film. So let me hire someone to do that. So they'll know who the top guys in college are, who the top free agents are come free agency. But Jerry has the title, does none of the film breakdown study, but gets all the credit.
Yeah.
When things go well. You see what they did to ownership? Oh, Jerry will pay. Jerry has top facility skill. The Phillies ain't got, in all my years, in 14 years, I've never yelled across there, and Cortez Kenny, friend of mine, rest in peace, Tez. Skip, I ain't never said, Tez, our facility is better than yours, bro. I don't know, y'all think y'all might be winning this game, but y'all ain't living like we live. We stay at the Four Seasons. We stay at the Ritz-Carlton. They ain't got nothing to do with it. I understand he pays his players top notch, but sometimes he plays the wrong players. He meddles too much. Look at all the teams in the 25 years that's gone to Super Bowls, that's won multiple Super Bowls. The Patriots have won. Give it to you like this, and I'm going to turn it over to you. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the equivalent of postseason games 4, as the Cowboys has won in 25 years. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won 4 postseason games last year.
With a brand new quarterback who's 43 years old. Go ahead.
The Cowboys won 4 in 25 years. But he's a great owner. You should have said that because he's made your pockets full.
Okay. I'm going to start with the second half of this statement that shocked me and knocked me off my chair last night. The worst coach in sports? I can't go that far. Worst. Mike McCarthy is the worst coach in all of sports. Well, what?
No.
Okay. I did applaud the hiring of Mike McCarthy, as you well remember, because he was a made man.
Yeah.
He actually, long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, he won a Super Bowl, maybe thanks to Aaron Rodgers, but he won it.
He did.
Made man. I looked last night at his record.
His record is not bad. His record is very good, actually.
Green Bay, as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers for 15 years. 15 years he was. It was kind of a quiet 15 years, but he went 125, 77, and 2. And in the playoffs, he went 10 and 8, which is respectable.
Respectable, yeah.
And now we've gone all the way to worst coach in sports. He has taken some serious, legitimate hits over what we see in Hard Knocks for his lame, forced, thoroughly unconvincing motivational speeches. It's not his forte. He is not a leader of men but by birth, like just naturally born leader. He's not that guy.
No.
He used to be a great play caller. It's very possible that his claim to fame in this league was actually his ability to call plays, which he was asked to give up when he took the Dallas job because Kellen Moore was already in place and he's tied at the hip. They're very symbiotic, he and Dak Prescott. Correct. They love each other and they vibe off each other. Okay, I'm fine with that. But now you've taken away the one thing Mike McCarthy can do. What does that leave him? It's Puppet City, right?
Exactly.
Okay, but don't call him the worst coach in all of sport. We don't have enough show left to start talking about bad coaches in all of sports, right? Okay, now we flip it around to best ownership group in sports. And the agent goes on to say, to your point, it's the business of football, not the game of football. So what he's talking about is nobody runs the show better than Jerry, Stephen, and Jerry Jr. They're the best at it.
Yes.
They throw the most money at it. They spare no expense, and they put on the show of shows. When it comes to P.T. Barnum entertainment value, you cannot top Jerry and company.
Right.
They know how to do it. And to this point, they're always going to have 100,000 people there. So the winning and losing becomes kind of irrelevant.
Yes.
I mean, if they went 0-17, that would be relevant. But if they kind of go 8-8, 9-8, sort of, it's okay.
0-17, but the Cowboys fans say we're going to win the Super Bowl next year.
Okay, you're partially right. I mean, I've been through droughts where it got pretty well. In fact, the reason Jerry was allowed to buy the team, they were crumbled. Rome had fallen, and it got ugly.
Correct.
It got non-competitive to the point that Jerry was able to even get his little foot on that door, the quote-unquote hick from the Arkansas sticks. How did he pull this off?
Right.
And now he is by far, as one of the other agents said, he's by far the most famous owner in the history of sports. If you took a national poll and asked people in the street, name one owner in sports, whose name would pop up?
Jerry.
It would be Jerry every time because nobody knows anything but Jerry Jones, because he almost epitomizes nothing's bigger than the state of Texas. You know, like he looks like he was made to be the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
With the exception of George Steinbrenner, Al Davis, rest his soul, all the other owners chose to stay in the background. Okay, look, I've hired people to do this. Hey, y'all get my shot of me in my owner's box or wherever I'm sitting, and then you keep it moving. That's not how Jerry is, Skip. Jerry is front and center. Jerry wants to give the pregame speech. Jerry wants to be the first guy to talk afterward. But Skip, what Jerry Jones has proven, that you can build a brand without winning. That's what he's proven. Because the Cowboy brand itself, they haven't won a championship, Skip. They haven't even been to the championship game in 25 years, let alone a Super Bowl. And every year, the value of the Cowboys increase. Jerry pockets get fatter.
Okay, but here's the single most painful irony to me as a fan, and I feel held hostage by this concept.
Right.
The man who says he would give anything, pay anything to win another Super Bowl is the single biggest reason they can't win another Super Bowl. It's and this agent sums up all his comments with, the biggest issue is that Jerry loves to be loved. He does. He was on full display last night in Hard Knocks. You got to see it in his helicopter ride where they circled his palace, his Jerry world, right?
Right.
Let's circle. Let's take another look at it, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Well, you saw it.
Yes.
The facilities are second to none. But here's the irony. I do disagree with your one point about nobody cares about the facilities. Well, some would, but they don't play the free agent game. They grow their own and pay their own.
Right.
They play, you know, I thought this year they might go into the market and actually try to make a splash. Belichick, he won the free agent market, right? He just said, give me him, give me him, give me him. Whatever it costs, I'll just go that. Jerry doesn't like to play the free agent game. They like to pick them, grow them, and pay them. And usually, to your point, overpay them.
Skip, but here's the thing. With the exception of, I think, of the Bengals, everybody have state-of-the-art facilities. Everybody got dip tanks and whirlpools and
It may not be quite
this. It's not like to the Cowboys. No, Skip. I mean, come on now. That's over the top. I mean, that's over the top. But let me ask you a question. You got all those over-the-top facilities. That what you built in Frisco costs more than actually Cowboy Stadium. What did it got you? You did all that. You toured around the helicopters.
It got you a whole bunch of happy football players who are losing, right?
Thank you.
Well, that's... You don't think you would have loved to play there and be treated like a king?
I love, you know what, but Skip, the one thing I learned more, I love winning more than I love fancy items. I love what it didn't mean anything to me. We stayed at nice hotels, and once Mike came, we got our own room, because before that, Skip, two to a room. We had our own room.
Okay.
First class, everything. We had massage therapists traveling with us. We got to win. We give you all this win. You got all these fancy facilities. You got cold tubs. You got dip tanks. They probably got physios and massage therapists 10 deep.
They do.
And what do I got to show for, Jerry? On your investment, on the football side, not the brand. What are the rewards that you've gotten for all you've done for those players? Absolutely nothing in 25 years.
So when Jerry says, I would do anything to win another Super Bowl.
Except get out the way.
Correct. The one thing he won't do, the one sacrifice he will not make is, Jerry, would you ever retreat up to your owner's box and stay there?
No.
Just stay up there. You'll get all your glamour shots, right?
No.
You'll get your vanity vehicle like the Hard Knocks was the other night. You'll get all that. Just stay out of the way.
No.
Just do Robert Kraft. Just stay back. Then the first move he'd have to make, he would have to go out and on the market find the best GM available and pay him to come to Dallas and turn it around.
What does people with money normally think? They always know more than the person that they hired. So Jerry, in Jerry's mind, he's the best GM in football. Actually, he's the worst GM in football.
Well, the quote from one agent was, he plays GM like a fan. Like a fan? That pretty much sums it up. He gets like a wide-eyed, crazed fan. We saw him up in his box the other night. That CD is a weapon. Well, he is a weapon. But now, do you have second-level thinking of, but he needs to improve this or that or whatever?
No.
Because when it comes time to pay CD, his next big deal after his rookie deal, he'll pay him $30 million.
Exactly. Right? And that's all I'm saying, Skip. Look, the facility is state-of-the-art. It's top-notch. It's going to be 10 years from now, Skip, that facility will still be state-of-the-art. But at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. Mm-hmm. Yes, the value of your team is increasing. Yes, the marketability, the profitability of your organization, yes. But, Skip, football, I thought, was about winning. I thought professional sports was about winning. Yes, you want to make money.
Yep.
But what he showed you, I can make money, and I ain't got to win nothing.
Okay. I got it. So to sum up the Mike McCarthy quote, worst coach in sports, if you dig deeper, the first agent we quoted is saying that anything that begins and ends with mismanagement talk starts with who they hired to be the head coach. So his point is actually one cut deeper in that he's saying Mike McCarthy is the worst head coach in sports because he's the most powerless head coach, right?
Yes!
Okay, so he can't even do any.
No.
There's no way he can even be a coach. He's just got to be a puppet on a string and do their bidding.
He can't.
So he is rendered neutered. He can't do anything.
That's crazy.
You've taken away everything from him.
Emasculated him. Yes.
Yes. So if you want to go there, but he on capability, he's not the worst.
No.
Sports.
But Skip, if somebody comes late for a meeting and I don't possess the ability to fine him, if a player does something and I don't have the ability to suspend him, what am I? What the players found that they could realize.
Or if you do try to fine him and he runs upstairs and Jerry says, I rescind the fine, then.
And when Jimmy was there, how many guys you think could circumvent Jimmy and go see Jerry and get something that Jimmy said, okay, this is what I'm going to do?
Trust me, nobody even tried.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But once they got even Parcells, once they got past Parcells and they got Dave Campo and they got Chan Gailey. Chan Gailey was my offensive coach, was my position coach. So I know Chan, offensive coordinator also. Once they got past him and Wade Phillips and got some of these other guys, if the coach said something or did something they didn't like, they just go upstairs to Jerry.
Jason Garrett. They just went upstairs.
Right. And Jerry liked that. Oh, you cut to see old Daddy Jerry?
Yep.
Jerry make it right for you.
Jerry loves to rub elbows with his stars.
Yeah.
That's the other huge problem.
I mean, I couldn't imagine calling the owner by first, but obviously Jerry's different. All the other owners give him for the most part, except Steve Machado, because I know Steve.
Yep.
I call him Mister. Jerry don't want you to call him Mister. Jerry wants you to call him by the first name.
His own sons call him Jerry.
His grandkids call him Jerry. I've never seen such a thing in my life.
So to sum this up, I still say my Cowboys are going to win this year in spite of Mike McCarthy and in spite of the general manager, owner, operator, Jerry Jones. In spite of.
You're not going 12-5.
Yep, 12
You're not winning the NFC East.
12
and you're definitely not going to the Super Bowl.
Book it 12-5.
I already booked it. As a matter of fact, I already got your reservation for the end of the year at Club Shea. Yeah, I already booked it. Because I fill up fast.
We play the second easiest schedule in the league. Cakewalk.
Whomever got you on their schedule also has a very easy schedule. Yes.
I think they're fearing that new defense that we're going to run out there.
Oh, they're like, oh, my God. You see the Cowboys Stadium? We got no chance of beating them guys. Man, you see that facility? You see that drone shot?
Did you see Micah Parsons?
Guess what?
Did you see Randy Gregory?
Yeah.
Whew.
I can't wait to have that drone shot when y'all walking out the field with your helmet in your hand after y'all done missed the playoffs. I want a drone shot of that.
Okay.
That's what I want a drone shot of. When y'all got them old hefty trash bags clean out your locker.
Yep.
That Monday after that Sunday when it's over for you.
I want a drone shot of your TV room the night that the Cowboys clinched the lease.
Yeah,
that's what I want. I want it just to hover right over your head so I can see the pain in your face.
Hey, I know.
No mercy.
Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo are still battling for the starting quarterback job in San Francisco, and Kyle Shanahan hasn't named a starter yet, but he told reporters he has a pretty good idea who'll be under center week 1 for the 49ers. For what it's worth, Jimmy G also told reporters he has a good idea who'll be QB1 and seems pleased with the current status. Take a listen.
Yeah, I have a pretty good idea.
You're smiling about it, that must mean something, right?
It's whatever he decides. Yeah, I have a pretty good idea. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now and everything, and just the offense as a whole. But yeah, Kyle's the head man. He'll make the call.
That was a big smile. Shannon, do you have a pretty good idea who is going to start?
I said it. I believe it's going to be Jimmy G. I'll still say that, Skip. Look at their schedule. The first 2 weeks, they're on the road at Detroit, at Philly. Then they come home, Green Bay, Seattle, at Arizona versus bye week, then versus Indy. I believe Jimmy G is going to start this season. Now, the one thing that what Jimmy G has shown, Skip, Jimmy G is 24-8 as a starter. But the problem is turnovers and his health.
Yep.
Get stay healthy. Towards ACL 1 year, after 1 game, 2 games. Then he hurt his ankle last year. So his availability is a form of ability also.
Yep.
And Jimmy hasn't been available enough. And then the turnovers. That's the one thing that I played for Kyle Shanahan's father. That's the one thing that will drive him and most coaches crazy is turning the football over. But I believe Jimmy G, because I believe the Detroit and Philly games are very, very winnable, Skip. And you look at Trey, Skip, he has to make the biggest jump because he's coming from FCS, and of all the quarterbacks, he's the only one that only played 1 game last year. Then he opted out. So for me, Skip, I just think the thing is that Jimmy G knows this offense. He'll be very good. I believe these are 2 very, very winnable games. And I think Trey has played well, but it normally takes him a little while to get wound up, Skip. And so for me, with that being said, having watched the games closely, knowing Kyle the way that I know him, I believe Jimmy G is going to start this season. Now, I'm not saying Jimmy G is going to finish this season as the starting quarterback of the 49ers, but I do believe he starts the season.
Okay, after what I saw yesterday, you could be right.
Okay.
The tea leaves screamed yesterday Mac Jones beat out Cam Newton, and the tea leaves in San Francisco screamed that Jimmy G will start game 1.
Right.
Almost cat ate the canary little grin that we got from Jimmy G. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, we get that. Okay, so I am a fan of your man Kyle Shanahan. I am a much bigger fan, as you know, of Trey Lance, and I believe his ceiling will be the highest of all these rookie quarterbacks, including one who got the starting job yesterday in Jacksonville. No shock, Trevor Lawrence. We knew that was coming.
Yes.
Obviously, Jacksonville and San Francisco have very different aspirations this year.
Very different goals.
Because in 49er headquarters, they think they have a shot, I'm sure, to go win it all.
Right.
They have that kind of roster.
Yes.
In Jacksonville, I think they're just trying to get through the season, right?
Yes.
And keep their quarterback upright and healthy. Okay, but I do love the fact that Urban Meyer does get the fact that if you've got a Trevor Lawrence, you picked him for a reason, number 1 overall. He was the best high school quarterback in the country. He was the best college quarterback in the country. So just play the man.
Right.
Put him in the way Indy threw Peyton into the fire, and he led the league in interceptions, and he was so mentally tough that he just learned from it, and he started getting a little better, and then a lot better. Same thing can happen to Trevor Lawrence. To me, the same thing could happen if you just threw Trey Lance in, because there's a way to protect him with the running game.
Right.
They have the most hellacious running attack. They have the best strategic attack. Nobody coaches it, teaches it, calls it better than Kyle and Mike Shanahan, and you knew it firsthand, right?
Yep.
It's the ultimate quarterback protection. So the other thing Trey Lance can do that Jimmy really can't do to the level Trey can is run the football.
Right.
So they're not having Trey run it at all in the preseason because they're going to camouflage that. They're going to keep it under wraps. Okay, but what I also did hear, and here's the interesting plot twist here, I keep hearing about all these situational snaps that Trey Lance is going to get in the real game.
Right.
And Jimmy G was very good yesterday talking about a long conversation he had when Drew Brees attended one of their practices the other day because he wanted to pick his brain about how did you get used to sharing some snaps with Taysom Hill?
Right.
How do you function? Do you lose rhythm?
Right.
You know, Drew Brees would just happily trot out of the game or sometimes trot out to the flank and line up as a dummy wide receiver, right?
Right.
Well, it sounds like they're going to use this kid, Trey Lance, they're going to use him a whole lot as I don't know if it's exactly a Taysom Hill type thing because he can't go line up at H-back, I don't think.
Skip, remember they did that with Lamar Jackson and Joe Flacco.
They did.
They found a way to get they found a way to get Lamar on the field for sometimes 8-9 plays a game. In different situations. Sometimes they let it throw him, but a lot of times, Skip, it was designed runs. But I want to get him in the game, get a feel, let him know just how fast. Because you don't really you think you know when you're on the sidelines, but you actually need to get into the fire to feel just how hard it is. And so I believe they'll do a situation like that. But Skip, Jimmy G did take a team to the Super Bowl. He was one bad throw from possibly tying the game up, getting the game to an overtime, and who knows what could have happened. Maybe Patrick Mahomes comes out, lead him down and kick a field goal. We never know. But he was 3 yards too deep on a pass from tying this game up. He's 24-8 as a starter. The question is,
but remember,
keep
in
him
that
healthy.
fourth quarter, his stats were nightmarish. He threw a big interception. He opened the floodgates for Patrick Mahomes to bring them back from, what were they, 10 down?
They were 10 down.
Well, that's what sticks in the craw of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. That happened. And you know it could happen again when you least expect it. He goes haywire.
I think the thing is, Skip, had they removed Jimmy G, because in situations like Peyton, they removed anybody that could have possibly challenged Peyton. Gardner Minshew is not a threat to, but Jimmy Garoppolo, Skip, went to a Super Bowl. He won an NFC Championship game. So with that being said, it's not like his situation is different. You look at Zach Wilson. They don't have anybody there that can challenge him for the job. There's like, you're going to start. We understand. But these other situations, Skip, these are teams that believe they can make the playoffs. San Francisco believe they can make the playoffs and make a deep run. The Patriots, they believe they can make the playoffs. So I think that's the only thing that would cause me some hesitation about starting Mac Jones. Although I've said it, I do believe he's the most ready of all these potential quarterbacks that's going to play.
Okay, I got it. I do think that Kyle wanted to leave it the door slightly ajar because it's starting to shape up like some starters will actually play this final preseason game. It's a different. It has a different vibe this year.
Because, Skip, theoretically, this is the third game because the third game would give you 2 weeks between the last time you play and then the first time you play the meaningful game.
So the 49ers play this Sunday. It's 4 o'clock Eastern hosting the Raiders. Could Trey Lance make a run at Jimmy G in that game? Could he get more meaningful snaps? Maybe some starters play early in the game. Maybe he'd start the game. I'm just leaving the door slightly ajar for this to be a competition because Trey Lance has shown me some big talent production so far. He's also looked shaky sometimes, as he predictably would, to your point, coming from North Dakota State, having played one football game last year. Okay.
So I believe Jimmy G's gonna start the season, especially with the 2 games on the road to start the season, Skip. And I believe Detroit and Philly, I believe both of those games are very winnable. And then you get Green Bay, Seattle, and Arizona. You get Green Bay, Seattle at home, and then you travel to Arizona, who's in your division. I mean, think about it, Skip. 2 of your first 5 games are division games.
Okay, I got it. But also think about this. They bet their entire future, their near future, on this kid. I've never seen anything like it. They went all the way up to 3.
Skip, I don't need it to pay me 30% in the first year. I just need to pay me 30% over the course of time. I got that.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you might even see Trey Lance get whole series in real games.
Oh, yeah. It ain't no one play. He coming out for one play. No, I'm thinking he's good.
Okay, so they're hedging their bet a little bit. They're going to ease him into the fray.
Right.
But it's not like he's going to hold the clipboard on.
Right. No. It's going to be a change to make them prepare for something else. Because he's a different dynamic. He causes a different dynamic than what Jimmy G. Jimmy G is really not trying to. But you can run plays like they do with Lamar, like they do with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
You can do some of that with Trey Lance. So it's a different dynamic that a defense will have to prepare for. But I think Jimmy G is going to start the season as long as he takes care of the football. Now, he starts turning the football over, Skip, because, he go through stretches where he'll turn it over 2-3 times a game for like 2 or 3 games.
Yep.
That's not going to happen because he does that this year, he's going to be up out of there, and Trey Lance will be starting.
You want to talk about a short leash?
Oh.
This might be the shortest leash in NFL history.
Nah, he ain't even on the leash.
Yeah.
They got him by the collar. They got him by the collar. He ain't even on the leash. He can't go nowhere.
No mercy.
Well, on Saturday, college football kicks off on Fox, and a Big Ten battle awaits as Nebraska faces Illinois at 1 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And Fox Bet Super 6 is giving you a chance to win $5,000 during that game. So scan the QR code below, download the app, answer 6 questions about the matchup for your chance to win. College football is officially back. And guys, Tom Brady spoke about his offseason knee surgery yet again, and this time during a SiriusXM radio interview. And the 44-year-old was pretty honest about the struggles he had getting ready for the season. Take a listen for yourself.
It was a tough offseason, just in terms of the rehab. Anytime someone goes through surgery, the rehab process, there's nothing easy about it. You have to get through it. When you miss time and you don't continue to train the way you're capable of training, it's tough. I've had to push through some different things, and even the early part of training camp, just getting my legs under me, even for someone who's been doing it as long as me, it's always a challenge. I think that's why I love the sport.
Shannon, how surprised were you Brady was so forthcoming about his doubts?
I'm not surprised at all. Welcome to the world of getting old. Skip, and I've said this before, rehabbing is not training. Because rehabbing, you're just trying to get your body back. Trained, you're pushing your body to limits to be able to call on it. And Tommy said, I had to rehab and I wasn't able to train, and it gets harder. As you get older, Skip, it gets harder and harder and harder. And Tom is starting to figure that out. Tom, he's had something like, I'm kind of something like human. Really? You've always been human. Don't let winning 7 Super Bowls make people think you're not human, Tom. And as we start to age and we have surgeries, I don't care how minor someone might think they are. I've noticed, Skip, minor surgery only happens on other people. When we get it, it's major. I don't care what it is. You have a tooth pulled. Man, I had a major surgery, man. They like to kill me. But Skip, look, it's just a part of the process. He's 44.
Yep.
I know Tom didn't think he was going to be able to bounce back at 44 having surgery like he did at 24 or 32. So he'd have been in 2007. He'd have been, 29, Skip? That's something around that age, 29. So I hope Tom didn't think he was just going to bounce back like he did when he was 29. No, but I understand what he's saying. But I don't do no excuses. No, we know we don't do that, Skip, here. You and I, when we sit across, we don't do excuses. So I ain't going to let Tom set us up. Now, he told us he's not wearing the sleeve. This the first time since that injury, he's not going to wear a knee brace. Yep. He told me Clyde Christensen can't stay off TV and everybody radio. He's great. He doing this, he doing that. So I don't want to hear nothing. Nothing. Okay? Okay. We good then.
So you will never give this man a break.
I gave him a break.
And you never give him an ounce of credit for at least being honest about what he's going through, because I'm going to remind everybody, he said in this interview, it was 6 months today, this interview is on August 24th, that I had knee surgery. And it wasn't microscopic, it was full scale, have to go in and fix repair the ruptured ligament. It was MCL, medial collateral ligament. So it wasn't cartilage tear. It wasn't cartilage cleanup. It wasn't a scope. It was full scale. I got to reattach the ruptured ligament. Okay. He played the whole year last year, according to him and them, the team, with the ruptured ligament. I give him some credit for that because he had a pretty great year and they won the Super Bowl. So he won the Super Bowl and did throw 40 regular season touchdown passes on a ruptured medial collateral ligament. Okay. So now he's saying that 6 months before August 24th, he had that surgery. So that would be February 24th.
Correct.
That means that he'd already been in camp for a whole month. So he came back from the full-scale surgery, ligament reconstruction, in 5 months. think about what we keep talking about with Kawhi Leonard. I know basketball is way more difficult to get through than the playing quarterback.
Playing quarterback in the NFL,
I got that. But think about this. Kawhi had ACL surgery on July 13th. So that would mean if he's on the Brady schedule, that by January 13th, that would be 6 months. Right. Fairly early in the season, he should be starting to come back, right?
No.
Okay, well, why not?
Because.
Okay, and that's 6 months. Tom started to come back and actually practice with the team in 5 months.
What if Tom Brady had to shuffle, had to change direction? So what if Tom Brady, so do you believe if Tom Brady played receiver, played cornerback, he could do that? That's what Tom Brady. That's what
knowing this guy, I don't know.
I know.
Okay? There are a couple of guys when it comes to injury rehab I wouldn't bet against. Brady.
Not at 44, Skip.
And Adrian Peterson.
Not at 40.
Wouldn't bet against.
But Skip, you got to understand, AP was in his 20s when that happened. Yep. So now having surgery and AP's in his 30s, Tom's in his 40s. You don't heal as quickly as you once did. Okay. And Tom is finding that out. But I agree with everything he's saying, Skip, about rehab to training. Okay. There's nothing like it.
Okay. The problem is when you reach age 44, if you are forced to stop your training, not your rehabbing, you stop doing what you were doing to stay on top of yourself.
Right.
Because your body will defeat you if you let it. Yeah. It will couch you. Mm-hmm. You know what happens? Because your body instinctively says, I want to chill. He said that.
Down.
You just want to chill.
Yeah.
Because your body keeps fighting against you. Don't do that to me. That doesn't feel good. Right. Just sit down. Lay down.
Because, Skip, he can't train because it's his lower body. Everything that Tom needs to do is from waist down. So now I got an injury on my knee. Yeah. So I can't do what I need to do waist down. It's like, okay, well, then one day, the next day turned into 2 days, and 3 days. Yeah. Well, and your body's like, I like this.
It's like running against the band. You know, you put the band on and you go on the beach and you run in the sand against resistance.
Right.
Well, there's a long stretch where you cannot risk that.
Right.
Okay.
You got to let that knee heal.
Okay, so he's saying his body fought back until when he went to camp, it's saying, I don't want to do this. Right. It's too hot out here. Mm-hmm. And he's saying he's just now trying to get his sea legs underneath him in Tampa Bay. Right. Well, it's hard, so I give him a little bit of credit for this, and he is back on schedule, and I think he's going to have his greatest season ever because he's got more weapons than he ever had thanks to Coach Belichick.
Tom, as long as Tom understands, aging does apply to him. Even though he's still playing the game of football at a very high level, even though he's won Super Bowls, won 7 of those, he's still aging. And eventually his body's going to, I know he's fighting his body as his body is fighting him. Yep. And right now he's winning.
Okay. But trust me, if you have knee surgery at 24 and you have to just shut it down, you'll have a hard time coming back.
But it's a lot easier, Skip. I mean, man, I used to have this thing, I would bounce back. I can imagine if I'd had the same surgery that I had my hip 4 weeks ago, if I'd have had that surgery in my 20s, ain't no question in my mind, I'd have been breakdancing in 2 weeks. As opposed to walking assisted. Now, I was walking on my own unassisted in 16 days, and the doctors tell me that's unbelievable because when he saw me, he's like, where's your crutch? Where's your, I don't need it. He's like, you're doing unbelievable. But Skip, when you young, man, that body just bounce back just like that. Woo, yeah, you feel, man. I was like, and people were telling me this thing was easy. It ain't easy to me. But my mindset, having gone through it, Skip, it's a lot easier. You've done rehab, as opposed to a person that's never done rehab. You knows what it takes. There are going to be days you don't feel like it. You're going to be sore the next day to fight through that. And that's what Tom was having to do. But normally he's having to fight through training sessions. Yep. He's not even getting to train. He's just rehabbing just to get back to a point where he can train.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, I'm just now getting there. And it's a little scary. It's a little daunting. So he was actually being open-hearted.
Right.
He was divulging some humanness, some doubt. I've never heard him say something like that.
Well, I've been told you he was human. You just think he's not human.
Well, you think he's planting excuses.
No. Whoa, Skip. All I'm saying, Skip, I said, I concur. There's something about not feeling up to like when you have to rehab. And I've had a couple of off seasons where I had to rehab and wasn't able to train like I wanted to except the last. And I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel as confident as I needed to be because I know I didn't get that groundwork in that I needed. And I'm just like knocking on wood like, okay, just hold up, body. Because remember, Skip, you limp into the season more times than not. You're limping out of it. Because hey, I understand he doesn't play the most physical, demanding position. But it's still a grind. Those licks hurt more as we age.
And there's more pocket movement than people give this credit for. There's a lot of slide stepping. There's a lot of planting this way and that way to avoid, to plant, to throw a little off balance. You got to have some rock solid ligaments underneath.
And saying that, Skip, remember he said he's not going to wear the sleeve. He's not going to wear the brace.
Yep.
I don't know if he's still going to maintain that, considering that he hasn't been able to train and get those legs under him like he wanted to. Yeah. I think this was more tougher than he thought. He's like, man, I always bounce back. I've had surgeries before. You got to realize, Tom, when you had that ACL, you bounced back from that. You were in your 20s, bro. That was a long skip. That's been 15 years ago.
Yep.
A lot of things changed. The body changed drastically in 15 years.
Well, in the end, he's going to be just fine, and you're not going to be fine.
I need him to be, I don't need him to be fine. I need him to be great. I need him to be his all-time best self on September 9th.
Oh, okay.
That's all I need. I need him to be his all. I need him to be a combination of Philadelphia stat-wise, come from behind Atlanta-wise, fourth quarter Seattle. If I can get Tom Brady to do that for me on September 9th, it'll be a glorious day.
Well, Thursday night, September the 9th, Tom Brady will throw the biggest party he's ever thrown.
I'm hoping.
Against the easiest opening night or day opponent he has ever faced.
And now, since you put it like that, he throwing a party, I'm going to throw a party too.
Really?
Yep. I'm going to throw a vaccine mask party. You got to have vaccine and you got to be masked to come to my party.
Really?
So I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of people there, which is the way I planned it.
Okay. Well, that'll be the one gimme on Tampa Bay's schedule.
No, Skip, don't do that. That's your team. How you already talking about your team done caught the L and they ain't even played? We 2 weeks away.
Not fair.
It is fair.
Not fair. Send us to Washington.
No,
I'll take Washington.
We're sending you to Tampa.
Yeah, way to go. Thank you.
Why would you go to Washington? I mean, most people play in Washington. You saw the Storm. They played in Washington. They played, and then they went to visit the president. Well, y'all didn't win anything, so why would you be in Washington?
Because it's a division rival and it'd be a big marquee game.
It ain't gonna be no big marquee.
Fox, right?
Would it be bigger than Tampa?
Well, it would be less ugly than Tampa.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm upset about that too, Skip, because that's supposed to be our game. The Cowboys-Tampa supposed to be on Fox. But we like, hey, y'all got that. Y'all opened up on Monday night, but that's okay.
That's fine. Okay.
As long as y'all catch the L.
We're going to catch the biggest, baddest L you've ever seen. And then our season starts at Chargers.
Y'all can play on camcorder for all I care. As long as Tom Brady put that thing on y'all.
Yeah. You will. You're going to be the biggest Brady fan ever just for one night.
You know what? I might call my homeboy and have him get me a Brady jersey. I might come out here in a Brady jersey.
Really?
Friday morning. Yep.
Oh, I got one you could borrow.
Nope, I get out of here. My homeboy, really good friend with him. He might give me an authentic one.
No mercy.
Veteran Teddy Bridgewater beat out Drew Lock for the Denver Broncos starting quarterback job, the team announced yesterday. Bridgewater is playing for his third team in 3 seasons, but showed enough in camp and preseason to replace the incumbent Lock. The 28-year-old veteran will now be the 11th quarterback to start for the Broncos since Peyton Manning retired 6 years ago after winning Super Bowl 50, and will look to be the first quarterback to lead Denver back to the playoffs since then. So Shannon, as a former Bronco, yes, I know this is your team. How do you feel about their quarterback situation?
Feel good.
Seriously?
Yeah, I feel real good about that one, Skip. I think we're going to be a playoff team, Skip. I think we're going to be really close to a playoff team. I think we're going to win 10 games.
Really close or a playoff team?
I'm going to say we're going to win 10 games. If 10 games can get you into the playoffs, we're going to get that.
Really?
Yeah.
10-7, says Shannon Sharpe.
At the least.
Really?
Yep. Because our defense is going to be outstanding.
Okay.
We get Chubb. Chubb is healthy again. Another year removed from that ACL tear. We get Von Miller back, Shelby Harris. I love the back ends with Simmons, Surtain, Kareem Jackson. We're going to be looking real good. And not Teddy B. Teddy KGB to be exact. Yeah, man.
KGB.
Ooh, you know Teddy be picking out. You watched him the other day just going through his progression, just picking people apart. We got Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and Courtney Sutton. Now he coming off that injury, but he's going to be ready to go. Noah Fant, Tim Patrick. And that rookie running back, Javonte Williams, with Melvin Gordon.
You got this?
10-7, baby.
Remember, Teddy KGB lost the big match at the end of Matt Damon, right?
He ain't going to turn it over, though.
No.
He ain't going to turn it over, Skip. We got this one.
So, you were betting 10-7 on a Teddy Bridgewater who went 4-11 in 15 starts last year for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, well, he didn't have, what you call him? He didn't have a C-Mac.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey.
Pro Football Focus ranked him tied for 31st in quarterback performance last year. Not that great. 15 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. It's okay. Teddy's always pretty good.
Remember what he did with the Saints?
I do. He went 5-0
Okay.
without Drew Brees.
Okay.
He beat Dak Prescott 12-10. 12-10. It was highly impressive. And I look at his overall record, and it's 26-23 as a starter, but that does include that one year he did make the Pro Bowl when he went 11-5 for the Vikings.
Remember they had that win, they had a playoff win, and the guy yanked the field goal.
Blair Witch Project, right?
And he was never the same.
Yep, I hear you. Then he did go 5-0, as you pointed out. If you take away those two big stretches, he's 10-18. So he's just kind of average. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he doesn't make a lot of plays.
That's what you... No. We got playmakers. Just put it in their hands and not the opposing team hands. Now, I did like what I saw from Drew Lock. He did play better, but Drew Lock turned the ball over too much. If Teddy Bridgewater...
Well, he turned it over the most.
Yes. If Teddy Bridgewater can take care of the football, which I believe he can, this defense, Skip... Now, I'm not saying they're going to be 2015 defense. That was a whole different level, Skip, with Vaughn and D. Ware and that secondary.
All right.
But... they got the makers to be Shelby Harris. They got the makers to be really special defensively. Okay. And I like these pieces. Jerry Jeudy about to take that next step.
Really? Well, he can only be the second best receiver in his class because CD is about to vault to the top of that.
Well, first of all, Justin Jefferson right now is the best receiver in that class. Okay. He's the best receiver in this class right now.
You can underline right now because that's about to change dramatically.
Jerry Jeudy about to take that next step.
Okay. Now I'm going to bring up a taboo topic for you, but I've got to bring it up. You don't even have to react if you don't want to. But I'm going to discuss your man, John Elway. You played with him. You played for him. You loved him.
Yeah.
He helped you achieve Hall of Fame stats.
He did.
He threw you a lot of big passes, and you made a lot of big catches with John Elway, and he is your friend and your man, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure about John Elway's ability to pick quarterbacks. It's almost Jordan-esque because Michael Jordan has had a very hard time picking star basketball players. That's not his forte.
Well, John's not in that role anymore. That's George Patton.
I got it, but he presides over this.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me when it comes to picking quarterbacks that he doesn't have some input into the process.
No, he upstairs now. He chilling.
Is he really chilling?
Yep.
Okay, so I look over what's happened on John Elway's watch, and I'll remind everybody he took over in 2011, and he went with Kyle Orton over Tim Tebow. That's fine. He had no use for Tim Tebow. And when it became a 1-4 dumpster fire, into that fire he threw Tim Tebow just to get it over with at Miami. And the next thing you knew, Tebow had taken them to the AFC West title and a playoff win over Ben Roethlisberger's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
So he benefited from a kid that he didn't even want to throw into the fire in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, what happens? Peyton Manning knocks on the door and says, can I play?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play. And again, I'm a Tebow supporter, but I had no problem with if you got Peyton Manning. Right. And I thought Indy, I was adamant about it on the record up front. Indy is making the biggest mistake, and it went to the top to the owner, that they've ever made, pushing him out the back door, and you know the rest of the story. Right. So he made Peyton Manning made John Elway look pretty great, right? And then it started. And we go back to 2012, and John, I think, presided over taking Brock Osweiler in the second round. Didn't really work.
Didn't work at all.
Zach Dysert, I'm not going to chalk that one up on him. That was a 7th-round pick, but obviously didn't work. Trevor Siemian had a couple of moments, but he was just a 7th-rounder. And then came Paxton Lynch. I was on the record up front on the other network. No, don't love him. And that was the 2016 first-round pick. It was 26th overall. Bust. Chad Kelly, I liked him a lot at Ole Miss, but he couldn't stay out of his own way off the field.
Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he at Clemson too?
He bounced. Yeah, he bounced all around, and now he's bouncing nowhere. But he was a 7th-round pick, and I thought it was a good one. And then we get to Drew Lock, and again, I'm not saying it was John's final say. I just think he had input into the decision.
Well, there's no way around that. Those guys he picked. I mean, the stat says 6 or 7 quarterbacks or taller are terrible. He picked 2 of them.
He did.
And so maybe, Skip, because he was so great, you would think a guy that was great at something, everybody that are great at something, that don't mean they can pick it or can teach it.
They can't see it.
Right.
It's what they did. And they're like, well, he could do it.
Right.
No, he can't do it like you did it. That's what Michael Jordan's problem.
Most of the golf.
He can't do it, and he can't do it.
Most of the golf coaches or swing coaches, they weren't great golfers.
No, I can't think of one who was. No.
But they can, most of the great coaches, they didn't play.
Nope.
Or if they did play, they weren't great.
Well, a lot of these people who pick these players successfully barely played high school football.
Right.
Okay.
But they're able to see. Everybody can't be Ozzie Newsome. There's a Hall of Fame player.
That worked. That's an aberration.
Yes.
That shatters that mold.
And he's going to end up going in the Hall of Fame as a contributor also.
Well, he should already be. I mean, he should be in as a contributor right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but for me, Skip, look, all this is just a one-year fill-in. Because you know who's coming next year.
You really believe that?
Yeah, I believe it.
At age 38.
With all my heart and soul.
Really, at age 38, Aaron Rodgers is going to save the day in Denver, Colorado.
Hold on. Peyton Manning saved the day in Tampa at 43.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me Aaron Rodgers can't save the day at 38?
Tom Brady did.
Excuse me. Tom Brady saved the day.
Well, that's a freak of nature.
And well, we got a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch he come throw 40-plus touchdowns for us.
I think he wants none of that pressure.
I think he wants all that pressure.
He'd walk in the door and they'd say, we got Peyton Manning.
Next best thing. Super Bowl, here we come. We're going to the playoff this year. You know what, Skip Bayless? I feel
Maybe you should just stick with Teddy KGB.
You know what I feel? I feel real comfortable, Skip Bayless. I'm going to give you the same bet that I gave old Carl Lee Book at Off the Hook. I bet you we have a better record than y'all.
Who?
The Denver Broncos have a better record than the Dallas Cowboys. That's who. You ain't like who. You ain't no owl.
I'll take that.
Yeah, take it then. 2 cases right now.
Done.
Got him.
Thank you.
Got him. Saw him coming. I told y'all, I saw him coming. I was driving to work this day. Skip. I mean, early this morning, I'm like, how can I finagle a 2-case bet out of Skip? Broncos, better record than the Cowboys. I know he's going to jump on that with both feet. And there you did.
You only owe me 30. It's okay.
And you see what you did when you jumped on it with both feet? I snatched the rug right up from under you.
You realize that every bet you propose, you lose.
That's okay.
Every time you propose one, I'm like, yeah, I'll take that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it back.
I play the second easiest schedule in the league, and I play in the least.
But guess what? I got 17 games, and then the old Lakers playing a full schedule. Flip it.
Really?
Watch out, be in the front, you in the back.
Flip that side just like the Cowboys flipped their defense?
Okay. Yeah. But you don't want no part of that Tampa. They flipped the defense, but you want no part of Tampa.
No.
They got
mismatch.
Michael Parsons, Keanu Neal. Y'all still got D. Law, Randy Gregory. You talking about Randy Gregory, a Pro Bowler. That's what you just told me.
All will pay dividends starting at Chargers.
Well, I don't know. Hold on, Skip.
I might have Tampa going 17-0.
Not if they play the Cowboys, you should say, no, we're going to hang that L on them.
Oh, stop it. Against the GOAT of GOATs? He is the ultimate GOAT.
You shunned your team.
Huh?
You shunned your team.
Well, no, I'm not. It's a mismatch. It's unfair. I told you. As soon as I saw the schedule, I said, that's a big old L. Forget that.
You deny them.
Yeah,
on national TV.
It'll be fun to watch, but it'll be 35-10.
It's going to be great to watch.
GOAT.
It ain't going to be no fun. It's going to be great.
35-10. I'm on record, and it's okay because we're going to go 12-5 and win the least, and you're going to owe me the breakfast of champions 5 cases.
You know what? I'm going to enjoy my pool. I'm having me a pool party that Thursday night. Yeah.
I'm going to have a pool party of just Diet Mountain Dew. I'm going to swim in it.
Your day coming.
Yeah.
I got to be 2E. I got to be a 2E. This is the easiest case I ever had, Skip. You know that? This is the easiest case I ever won.
What if I tell you again and again, you cannot bet against one man in sports.
No, I'm betting against
Tom Brady.
I'm betting against you. I'm betting against your team, the Cowboys.
Yeah, but that's for the whole season. Yeah. I'm not betting on the opener.
Oh, and plus, we play y'all too, so we're going to get another bet on that.
In fact, are you starting to make a case the Cowboys are going to win the opener?
No.
Oh, because I'll let you have the Cowboys in the opener.
I don't want them bums.
Huh?
No.
Do you want the 7.5? I'll give you the 7.5 right now.
I want no part of that.
I'll do 5 cases right now, and I will bet on Tampa Bay.
Nope.
I'll give you the 7.5.
Nope.
No.
I'm going to take a picture of me and my Tom Brady jersey and put it on IG.
Okay.
No mercy.
Shaq's Thursday night, the reigning Big Ten champs kick off their season in prime time as number 4 Ohio State takes on Minnesota at 7:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. You know, Jenny's excited for that one, getting to go home to Minneapolis. Guys, I can't wait to be on the sideline again. Well, listen up here. Shaquille O'Neal may have been one of the most dominant players in basketball history, but he's also surprisingly humble. Shaq shared a list on social media yesterday that listed him as the 4th best center in NBA history behind Kareem, Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. And O'Neal captioned the post simply, quote, "I agree." Shannon, do you agree with Shaq agreeing with the ranking?
I do, Skip. I have him fourth on my list. For me, the top 2 are no-brainers, Kareem and Wilt. That's for me, Skip. I think those are no-brainers for me. But I put Hakeem at 3, Shaq at 4. I put Russell at 5, Mr. Russell at 5, Skip. Hakeem won the league's MVP. He was a 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and one of 4 men to have a quadruple-double in the game. He, David Robinson, Nate Thurman, and Alvin Robertson. But Skip, and Kareem is a 6-time MVP. 11-time all-defensive team. What people don't know about Kareem, the all-time leading scorer, was a very good defense. A lot of people, Skip, remember Kareem in the 80s, but Kareem he led the league in shot blocks 4 times. So for me, Skip, I agree with Shaq, but I will say this. Had Shaq had the mindset, say, you know what, I'm going to work my tail off every single year. Had Kobe's mindset or a LeBron mindset about off-season conditioning, there's no question in my mind, Shaq might have been the greatest player ever. He had that kind of ability. You will never, ever see again in your life a man his size as quick. Shaq can run. I bet Shaq can run, Skip, in his prime. If you lined him up at 330 pounds, Shaq probably could run, I'd say, a 4.6, 40. He had, Skip.
I don't know if I could go 4.6, but below 5, which would be...
No, he'd be 4.6, 4.7, easy. He had that kind of ability. But I agree with Shaq. But if I could, and you'll understand this, Skip, I believe Shaq was more dominant than Hakeem, but I believe Hakeem was the better player. That's where I'm at.
Okay. You were actually heading in my direction. And in the end, Shaq, I got your back on this because Shaq is underestimating his own self here, putting him 4th. The problem with this is, are we talking about a small sample size or the whole career? Because to your point, if Shaq had taken care of himself the way Kareem did, or Hakeem did, or Mr. Russell did, or who's your other one on there? Oh, Wilt. I'm not sure Wilt took care of himself, but the point was he stayed slender his whole career.
Now, Wilt took care of a lot of other people.
He did. Okay. Maybe that was his...
maybe that's how he stayed in shape so good.
Okay, I got it. But he did stay fit. Shaq did not stay fit, and it got to be kind of hard to watch at the end.
Right.
Phoenix and Boston. It was just like,
Cleveland.
What are you doing? Yeah, Cleveland. What are you doing? Anyway, in all my years of watching and studying the National Basketball Association, I have never seen anything like Shaquille O'Neal for 2000, 2001, 2002, maybe even 3.
Right.
It was the most overpowering force imaginable. He was unguardable, unstoppable, unrefereeable because it was so hard to figure out, was that charger or block, charger, block?
Right.
I don't know. It's just football.
Literally throwing people out the way.
Ragdolling. Tim Duncan and David Robinson.
Yeah.
2 towers of power for the San Antonio Spurs. In 2001, the Spurs got swept just because of that guy. And he had Kobe, but listen, it was that guy and what he was doing to those 2 guys. And I was there at courtside, especially for the 2 games at Staples. The Lakers beat the Spurs of Duncan and Robinson by 39 and 29. What? And it was all because Shaq just destroyed them.
Yeah.
So if I'm eye testing this, if I'm trying to imagine Shaq versus Kareem at their greatest, I don't think Kareem could have dealt with Shaq. Now, you could argue backwards to me that Shaq couldn't have dealt with Kareem, but Shaq did make 3 all-defensive teams in that stretch.
Yes.
So he was doing it on both ends, too. and he was 7 feet 1 inches tall and probably outweighed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar by
40, 50 pounds.
40 or 50 pounds.
Easy.
Kareem just could not have dealt with him because Shaquille O'Neal, to your point, was a dancing bear. You want to talk about agile at 330? You want to talk about touch and feel, and in that greatest, his MVP year in 2000, look at this. He led the league in scoring with 30. He led the league in rebounding with 14. He also chipped in with 4 assists a game, which was his career high. Well, that's just like too good.
Yeah.
Nobody could deal with that, and that was the only MVP one, but he also led the league by making 57% of his shots unguardable.
Right.
Okay, so if I take that Shaq, that was the greatest center I ever saw. And I was courtside for a whole bunch of Kareem games and a whole bunch of Hakeem games. Mm-hmm. I watched Bill Russell a lot on television. I did not go to his games.
Right.
And Wilt, I barely saw.
Right.
And I just see the numbers, and they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he got numbers, Skip. You might as well just take him out because no rookie is ever going to average 37 points a game. Nobody's ever going to score 50. Nobody's going to score 44. Average 25 rebounds. Average 23 rebounds for a career. That's never going to happen, Skip. Those records will never be broken. Never, ever, ever.
Who at 6 feet 9 inches tall kept outplaying 7 foot 1 inch Wilt Chamberlain, the Big Dipper? Who kept outplaying him?
I don't know if he outplayed him, Skip. I just think he had more help.
Outwitted him?
Yeah.
Whatever.
But Skip, you got to think about it. He had Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Time Heinsohn, Cousy, and Havlicek.
Don Nelson.
Skip.
No, I got that, but I'm just doing it in my mind's eye.
Okay, you took
I
a
think
sample size.
Shaq would have terrorized Wilt. I do.
You took a sample size, but if you take the body of work, you look at Kareem. Kareem was 11-time All-Defense. He was a 15-time All-NBA player, 19-time All-Star, a 6-time NBA champ, 6 MVPs.
Got it.
All-time leading scorer, the 3rd all-time leading rebounder.
Honor it. I love it all. Head-to-head, in their primes, he could not have dealt with Shaquille O'Neal.
Ain't nobody dealing with that sky hook. We can talk about Jordan. We can talk about KD heavy pull-up. We can talk about Kobe's fadeaway. The most unstoppable shot that God has ever created a man to be able to do was the sky hook.
Shaq would have bothered him.
The sky hook.
And then Shaq would have terrorized him. He would have had such a hard time because the physicality of it would have taken Kareem slowly but surely out of the game. My money would have been on Shaq every day and every night against Kareem. I know Kareem's game. I got it. It was a finesse game.
Yes.
It was a pretty game.
Yes.
This was ugly basketball.
I mean, Kareem's second year, Skip, he was 32 and 16. Now, look, this was the golden era of the big man. Kareem, Hakeem, Robinson, Shaq, Patrick Ewing, Rick Smith. Mm-hmm. It was the golden era. We'll never see another era like that of the big man. Now, Skip, it's the forwards, the guards of that nature. The big man is, because you got to shoot few and far between. You're going to get the Jokic's, you're going to get the Joel Embiid, the Anthony Davises. But the true fives, those are gone.
I got it. But you're going on duration. You're going on total career. Yeah. I'm just going on 3 years.
No, Skip. You can't do that.
Why not?
You can't do that.
But in your mind's eye, I think you already answered the question. I think you agree with me. Like one game for your life, I want Shaq as center.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, one game for your life, Shaq versus Kareem. Who you taking?
I'm going to take Kareem.
You are not.
I'm taking Kareem.
You would not.
Skip,
you were saying it.
Skip,
he ran 4.6 at 3:30.
Yes, but Skip, do you? That's the thing. People don't realize how great Kareem was.
Yeah, they do.
No, you
He's
can't.
The all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, but when we can start talking about Mount Rushmores, he always gets left off. Everybody talking about Jordan and Magic and Bird and LeBron, and I get all that. Skip,
he was subtle in his greatness.
Yes.
I give you that.
Yes.
It's subtle. It's like not sensational. There's nothing sensational.
He didn't have no, celebration. He threw the sky hook, Skip, and he just run back up the court. He didn't have, Shaq was dunking on people, had the powerful dunk and shoving people. Jordan was holding the poles, Kobe fading away, Bird.
Yep. No, Kareem was effortless, almost to the point of it looked nonchalant.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he throwing a hook shot from 15 feet away, and it's
I got it.
And he won it, Skip, he won at every level. He lost one game in high school, 2 games in college.
I got it.
And he got 6 MVPs. Do you think somebody will ever win 6 MVPs in the NBA?
I doubt it. And I still want the diesel.
Skip, if Shaq, just imagine if you could have got 10 years of the 3 years you're talking about, and you could have.
It's sad to me. No, seriously.
He'd have been the greatest because nobody could do anything with him. Larry Bird said he was before he came out. Larry Bird said he's probably the best player in the NBA right now.
Yep.
I mean, you're never gonna see that kind of force again.
Nope.
You're never gonna see.
I don't think so either. I agree.
No mercy.
33 NFL agents were polled by The Athletic about the most surprising decision of the offseason. Dak Prescott's 4-year, $160 million contract after suffering a broken ankle last year was tied for the most votes. One agent said, quote, "The Cowboys were willing to give him that without a franchise or transition tag and basically let him hold them hostage 4 years from now. From a team standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense." Shannon, will this turn out to be a great or bad move by Jerry Jones?
It was the only move. And I told you at the time, Skip, I said, once they let Carson Wentz and they let Jared Goff get these deals done with 2 years left on their contract, and Dak didn't get his deal done, I said, Skip, he's not going to take the same money they gave them. You say, well, it's a Goff Wentz. I said, he's not going to do it. He said because he saw those franchises with 2 years left, the 4th year and the 5th year option, they went out and extended him. Neither one of those guys are currently on the team. So Dak was like, y'all ain't gonna, I mean, they were first-round pick, first and second. They got 2 years left. I got 1 year, and ain't nobody gonna talk to me. Don't worry about it. So he said, you know what? I'll play on this franchise tag. Now, I'll play, if I have to, I will play next year's franchise tag at $38 million. Do you want $38 million on your cap? And then the following year, that's going to be 50 plus. So, Skip, they really didn't have a choice because they put themselves in a bind by pushing the ball down the road, kicking the can down the road, so to speak, like, okay, we'll see if he's this good. And guess what? Dak played good again. Well, let's see if he can do it again. He did it again. So they really didn't have a choice in the matter, Skip. And looking at the cap and where it's heading, this is about to be a bargain. Middle of the pack quarterbacks in the next 3 to 5 years will be making $40 million. The top tier quarterbacks could be making $50 to $55 million. 3 to 5 years, watch what I say. That's gonna look like a bargain in year 3 of this deal.
A bargain.
Bargain.
Sharpe. Whoa, boy, I hope you're right.
I ain't saying nobody win no Super Bowl now. I just ain't gonna look like a bargain considering where the market is heading. That's all I said. So you thought I said, you thought I meant, you thought I said he gonna win a Super Bowl, multiple Super Bowls, it's gonna be a bargain like that, huh? No. Just the prices are going up. That's all I meant, Skip.
But didn't you say on signing day when it finally happened and Jerry Jones admitted that, as I kept saying, he got taken to the cleaners and then to the bank? Got robbed. Didn't you say that Dak Prescott now has to win at least one Super Bowl to justify this kind of money?
Yes.
One Super Bowl.
One.
But now you're saying there's no way.
No, I said the other day ain't win no Super Bowl. You told me Jerry was
conclusion, back to the question, great or bad, then it's going to turn out to be a bad deal for Jerry Jones.
Let me ask you a question. But once you see where the quarterback market is heading, we see Josh Allen. We're going to take Patrick Mahomes because he's already won. We see where Josh Allen is going. Lamar Jackson is about to come. Kyler Murray is about to come. You're about to see guys start to go in that 42, 45 million. Aaron Rodgers, what he does next year. You're about to see, Skip, in the next 3 to 5 years, $50 million is going to be top tier.
Okay.
What Dak is, I say in another 2 years, Dak's going to probably be the 8th or 9th highest paid quarterback. And you still have him for another 2 years.
Okay, remember, this is only a 4-year deal. So Dak got exactly what he wanted from the start, and you can't tag him after the 4 years. So he is scot-free again to hit the total free agent market. Unrestricted, right? Okay, so you say he had no other options. No, he had other options, but you'd have to head this off the pass. If you don't buy completely into Dak Prescott, and it became clear to me he doesn't buy completely in. He did in the end because
he bought it.
By that point, he had no other option.
Right.
But along the trail, if you had first guessed this, if you had gone with your instincts and said, I don't know, he was a 4th-round pick, and occasionally he looks like a 4th-round pick. If that's your gut instinct, I'm not saying it's mine, but it seemed to be Jerry's.
Right.
Because once they fell apart through the 2019 season, it got to be a Cold War. It was do not invite them.
Right.
It felt like it was never going to get done because I think there was some real animosity on both sides, of the bargaining table. Okay, there's some turning point along there where you could have, you could have tried to trade Dak Prescott and get a first-round pick back for him that you eventually could use on one of these young quarterbacks.
But guess what you'd have had to do? You'd have had to trade that pick, and what doesn't Jerry like to do? Trade draft capital. So he might move up or down, but that would require to get one of these quarterbacks. That number is going to require you to go into the top 5.
Okay, and I first guessed this. When the GOAT hit the market, when Bill Belichick let the GOAT go from New England, I came right in here and I said, you know what? Because it feels like Dak and Jerry have gone so sour on each other. I said, I'm plunging into the GOAT market. I'm going to make a run at Brady.
But you're assuming he wants to go to you.
Okay, well, I don't know that. But again, it's America's team. You said it earlier in the show. It's the premier quarterback position in football. And they did have weapons at that point, and they did have an offensive line. I don't know. Maybe he would have been intrigued by being a Dallas Cowboy and wearing that star on the helmet and following Staubach and Aikman.
The difference is Tom Brady is a brand in and of himself. So unlike other quarterbacks that might be willing to go there, Tom Brady is a standalone. He doesn't need.
Okay, you could be right, but you could try. You could. Maybe they did kick the tires.
The question. No. This is how Tom Brady, knowing what he had for 20 years, Mr. Kraft stayed out of it. The coach's coach. He ain't fooling with Jerry. See, what people think sometimes is a blessing is also a curse.
Okay, but I don't know about what Tom Brady, maybe when he was talking about, you're going to stick with that blankety blank.
Man, he ain't talking about the Cowboys. He ain't going to Skip.
He was talking about the Cowboys.
That man wanted to be on the coast. He wanted to be by water.
Well, maybe. I don't know. The Cowboys have a lot of curb appeal, man, from a distance.
Not to Tom.
I don't know about that.
You think Giselle want to live in? You think Giselle want to live in the South? Does that strike you as something?
It's Hollywood, Texas. Trust me. It is. It's
Hollywood.
Glamour City.
Skip.
It is a big stage.
Do that couple strike you as a couple? Say, you know what? Dallas, Texas is our home.
Okay, but does Giselle want to live in Tampa? I get Miami or Fort Lauderdale or whatever, but not Tampa.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa, that water, he just got him a yacht right on the water. Cool, boom.
Yeah, I got it, but he picked the sucking ears and turned them into Super Bowl champs.
But guess what, Skip? Where a coach is coaching, ownership stays out of it.
Yeah. Okay, I got that. But you go win a Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys?
Can you imagine? Tom Brady's expecting the head coach to say something, and here comes Jerry walking in and address the team. Skip, Tom Brady's still a traditionalist.
Yeah.
He's still coach's coach, position coach's coach, ownership stays out of the way.
Okay. Maybe for once Jerry would have listened to somebody. Jerry, go sit down.
Jerry, you know Jerry.
No mercy.
Tom Brady may have just turned 44, but his ambition isn't slowing down at all. Earlier this week, Brady told Peter King, quote, "I love playing football." Offensive coordinator Aaron Leftwich said something really good the other day. It's a very simple game that's so hard to execute. It's a totally imperfect game that you're trying to do as perfectly as possible. Every day, I come out trying to do it. I'm hoping this is my best year. Guys driven. I got to give him that. Shannon, can you see Brady having his best year ever?
I don't. And I think, Skip, statistically, we're going to say his best year was 2007, the first year with Randy Moss. 50 touchdowns. He broke Peyton Manning's record, had 49. Peyton had 49. He went for 50. And I think he threw for a little over 4,800 yards.
4,806.
4,806.
Yep. Not his career high.
Not his career, because he threw for 5,000 yards a couple of years later.
2011, 2012, both bigger.
Right. So I'm going to say, he threw 40 touchdowns last year, Skip. Where is he going to come up with another 10 touchdowns at? I understand that we got one more game. So he might get close to 4,000 yards, Skip. I can see 4,600 yards. I think he threw for 4,600 yards. So another 350-yard game can put him at maybe 4,950, maybe close to 5,000. But I don't think he's going to do what he did. I'm going to say 2007 because he was almost perfect, Skip. 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,800 yards, 17-0. Because I think at the end of the day, Skip, Tom Brady looks at it like wins and losses. What good is for me throwing for 4,900 yards, 51 touchdowns if we're 10-6 or 12-5 and we don't do anything? So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. This is not going to be his best statistical season.
And I'm going to say, if he stays healthy, I'm knocking on my wood over here, that he will have his greatest season yet at age 44, because he had a pretty great one last year, his first year in Tampa with no preseason, pandemic-ridden all year long, and it took him at least half the year just to figure out the nomenclature of the offense, just how to call it, because it didn't come naturally to him. He threw 2 pick sixes, one in game 1 at New Orleans, one game 4 at home against the Chargers.
Right.
And guess who the target on both of those was? It was a kid from Penn, a 5th-round receiver named Justin Watson. Do you remember Justin Watson? Because I don't.
Why you call that man? Why you do that man like that on national TV and call him out like that?
I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying that was the target on both of those. Game 4 was the last target Justin Watson got that whole year. He was inactive for 3 of the playoff games and played briefly at Green Bay on special teams, but he was not a receiver. He fell out of the mix. That's what Tom was trying to work through and with early last season when you were all over him about this and that and the other. And then after that Kansas City game, they had a bye week and they took off and he figured it out. He was playing on a torn MCL. Antonio Brown was playing on some kind of a torn meniscus that he finally got fixed. So you have the GOAT quarterback with a better knee. You have Antonio, according to Bruce Arians, looking faster than he has for 5 years. So he's at the top of my touchdown list. And there's also a former Pro Bowler in Mike Evans, obviously, and Chris Godwin, obviously. Tom Brady came to love little Scotty Miller. He was a little touchdown machine last year. And Tyler Johnson, even in the playoffs, came alive and made some huge catches, especially at New Orleans. And then we've got Gronk, and then we've got Cameron Brate, and now we got O.J. Howard back, and he can be a beast, and don't write him off. And you can throw touchdown passes to, obviously, Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, and Ronald Jones. And how about Gio Bernard? They went and got Tom Brady, the ultimate toy out of the backfield that you can toss it to and let him run for touchdowns.
But, Skip, you do remember that Randy had 23 of those 50 touchdowns, and a lot of those were bombs.
Okay.
I don't believe they have anybody on that roster of that capability.
They don't, but they have a whole lot of very good receivers. They don't have a Moss, but even that, Brady's raving about that Jalen Darden, the 4th rounder out of North Texas. He's taken him under his wing. I'm not writing him off. He'll find a place in this mix.
I will concede this. He plays a position that you can stay in your peak longer, although I don't believe Tom Brady is still at his peak. He plays a position, Skip, and because of the way he plays it, he was never reliant on his athletic ability. He was never reliant on his speed. So he can stay in his in that little box where he's great longer. But I don't believe he'll go. So what are you saying? 50-plus touchdowns?
I am. I don't know if I can go to 55 because there's an extra game, obviously. So it's going to skew the records. But he had 50 in 2007 in 16 games. Could he go 55? I'll go 55 because that's probably what you would have to do for you to say that's his greatest
55 touchdowns?
Okay. And remember, touchdowns can be a little lucky sometimes because you can hit somebody and they get dragged down at the 1 and then you run it in. You know, you have to have some luck. But if the ball bounces right for Tom Brady, he's going to have a huge year because this is by far the best set of weapons he's ever had.
No, you got to throw a lot inside on the 1 yard line too.
You can do that.
You got to throw a lot of
Gronk in the game.
Randy caught a lot of fades.
Okay. Well, if that's how Arians is more prone to do that. All right.
No mercy.
LeBron James has never been shy to share his ideas, and this one got social media buzzing yesterday. The King tweeted, quote, "Man, watching Hard Knocks. Incredible show, man. Every time I watch it, I wish we had that as well, just for training camp preseason too. So fire." Shannon, would you like to see an NBA Hard Knocks?
I would, Skip, but it's so different because the NBA is based on stars, and Hard Knocks is kind of real about an underdog story. It's about these undrafted it's about a guy that was on the practice squad.
True.
So how do you sell that in the NBA when we hear so few of these stories about a guy that wasn't drafted and turns out to be a Johnny Randall or a Wes Welker or a Rod Smith? So, but I would, but you'd have to it's going to have to be the Nets or it's going to have to be the Lakers or nobody's going to be interested.
They could just switch every other year. Lakers, Nets. I'd watch that.
Basically.
But did you see how fired up LeBron James is about his and my Dallas Cowboys? That's the one thing we share. How many fire emojis did he put? Like 8?
But unfortunately, they're not going to be fire. They're not
Well,
gonna
he
be fine.
thinks they are.
Oh, that's okay. So
He says he just can't watch this enough, man. Can't get enough.
It's Skip. It's good TV. It is.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how it would play in an NBA locker room, Skip, because what's going to be the story? LeBron, KD, maybe you could do it simultaneous. Maybe you have to do two of them.
Yeah. I would watch it.
I know you would, because you be trying to pick LeBron apart. I don't want LeBron to be no part of it, because you're going to pick apart, well, why LeBron get in the cold tub? Michael Jordan never got in the cold tub. Why is LeBron taping his ankles? Jordan never taped his ankles.
The whole hour would be LeBron working out, right?
You know that. You know you got to get them abs right.
Yeah.
And
LeBron
working on free throws. That's all he doing, working on free throws.
I love the behind-the-scenes family
75%,
stuff.
baby.
We'll just see. Maybe we'll have something in the works. That's it for Undisputed. We're back tomorrow. The Herd is on now.